acknowledging the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia, and to recognise their continuing connection to the land and communities where we all work and live. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and their rich contribution within our society. So a very warm welcome to CGI's e-Estonia webinar. What can Australian governments learn from the most digitally advanced country in the world? My name is John Taylor, and I'm the local director for CGI's government business in Sydney. And CGI is very proud to have played a critical advisory role in Estonia's National Digital Transformation Programme. And we're pleased to be able to share with an Australian audience more details about what Estonia's achieved and the key elements of that programme that have made it so successful. So to guide us through these best practice solutions, I'd like to introduce you to our presenters today. First is Tobias Koch, who is a public sector digitisation consultant, and to Piret, who is the Director of International Relations at the Information System Authority of the Republic of Estonia. The plan for the next 40 minutes or so will be for Tobias and Piret to share their perspectives on the key features of the Estonian model. And after that, we will take your questions, which you can submit by the Q&A function on the menu bar at the top of the Teams screen there at any time during the presentation. So with that, I will hand over to you, Tobias.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great afternoon to everyone in Australia. Great meeting you. Thank you very much for the invitation. And I'll start right away with my slides about Estonia. So CGI indeed played an advisory role in building the Estonian digital society for the past 20 years. And you might wonder where it all started in Estonia. So Estonia regained its independence in the early 1990s. And when it did so, actually, well, at that time it was called Digital Information Society. Topics information technology was already high on the agenda. And the key premise there, I would say, is that the government wanted to be efficient. The government wanted to embrace technology and build an administration that was, attending to their citizens' needs. What is the digital nation today in Estonia? So it is digital for the sake of simplicity and saving resources. So actually in the 1990s, the Estonian government, the Estonian parliament, adopted a declaration in parliament that says that Estonia wanted to become an information society for the sake of making a difference for the people. So people embraced after those 20 plus years after this 20 plus years in digital transformation, Estonia to strive to get better. Key in Estonia has always been that data would be managed responsibly and transparently, because actually the more responsibly and transparently actually you manage data, the more insights you get, the more control you have over what happens with data. Something I believe is something critical to the success in Estonia. And then at the same time, as Estonia was digital so early on, it's been trained in risk in the very beginning. So Estonia is also leading the edge in terms of cybersecurity, something that Piret in her presentation will tell a little. But what are we actually talking about in Estonia? What's digital in Estonia? So in Estonia, there are open really metal go to the tax offices, and you can submit documents on paper, etc. But basically, that you can do everything that is important for you. You can do virtually via the internet. So 24/7, whether it's elections, whether it's your taxes, whether it's establishing a business, all these kind of things can be done online. So actually 99% of all services, public services, are available online, and services are introduced digitally by default for a while now already. And a very big booster for the success in Estonia is actually the once only principle. So the once only principle, introduced in the middle of the, or in around 2010, actually means that government administration, only one government administration has the right to keep a specific set of data over actually another government administration is in need of. Yes.
Right, sorry to interrupt. Your audio is breaking up quite a bit. Maybe we could try with your video off and see whether that improves things.
Okay. Let me just check my connection. Can you hear me better?
At the moment, maybe keep going. We'll see how we go.
Okay. Yeah. So the once only principle means that one government administration is supposed to make use of another government administration's data for their for their services that they're providing to citizens. So this avoids the duplication of data. This avoids that citizens have to present data in multiple places. So they keep it correctly in one place only. How does this all work? So two underlying technological tools that make this all possible, that have pushed Estonia ahead, is certainly the digital identity. The digital identity was introduced in 2001, and it's compulsory. So everyone residing in Estonia, or everyone born in Estonia, becoming an Estonian citizen, gets this electronic identity. And the electronic identity is based on 3 different carriers. The main one is the electronic identity card. Around the world, it has a chip. This one is issued by the Estonian Police Border Guard. And based on this electronic identity card, you can then make use of the other 2 carriers of your digital identity, which is mobile ID and smart ID, which is one SIM based, and another one is mobile application based digital identity, so that you can smoothly authenticate yourself on the internet. And Estonia is not the only country around the world that has a digital identity, but the kind of conviction that this would be the way forward, and the ecosystem around the digital identity in Estonia is what has pushed Estonia ahead. So as you can see, 70% of the Estonian population use their electronic identity card regularly. We have large numbers of mobile ID and smart ID users. And the key here as well is that you cannot only authenticate yourself online, but you can actually also provide legally binding digital signatures. So that means that any kind of contract in Estonian society, whether it's a rental agreement or an employment contract, or a sales agreement, all these kind of things are signed digitally. It's assumed in Estonia that the fact that we have a successful and appreciated digital signature in Estonia actually saves 2% of the Estonian GDP every year. So it has an economic impact as well, a critical economic impact, because people are used to signing agreements digitally. in whatever situation they are. And the electronic identity provides citizens with access to online government services, but also provides access to the private sector, and the private sector services are really the booster of the electronic identity. So the fact that the public and the private sector basically have come together in introducing the electronic identity and adopting it, building use cases around it, has really been important for the success of it. Just checking in the meantime, is my sound okay? Is my audio okay?
Yes, mostly yes, it's good, thank you.
Okay. The second critical technological infrastructure that the Estonian digital society has been built on is the so-called X-Road. The X-Road is an open source interoperability layer which connects hundreds of public and private sector registers managed by different entities. The idea of the X-Road was to basically create a trusted environment where different government and private sector institutions could securely exchange data, so that services could be built on top of the exchange of data. And this has been the Estonian X-Road, was introduced in the early 2000s. As you can see, the numbers here, so it saves millions of working hours annually, because access is defined and is carried out on a need basis. So there's no manual process in that sense in getting specific bits of information that might be handled by another authority. And at the same time, everything that is exchanged via this peer-to-peer infrastructure is actually locked and timestamped. So you actually have control, you understand who has had access to what information. What this looks like is that you have a government entity.
Tobias, we seem to have lost you again, and we
Yes,
can't blame the internet in Estonia, because Tobias is in fact dialing in from Ireland. So my apologies to those on the call. We'll see how we go. We'll just persevere for a few more minutes. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I could actually hear you, so I don't know what's happening to my sound. I see your video well. Can you hear me now?
Yes, all good now.
Okay. Yeah, let's blame the Irish internet. I don't know. Yeah. So the key thing about the X-Road maybe is that you don't have central data access. So it's not data in one place, but it's actually different authorities managing their data independently, but they have signed up to a network, a platform basically that allows them to share their data with other entities to build services and to essentially create added value to the citizens. I wanted to give you two examples of how the X-Road is used. So, for example, the Estonian government portal, the state portal, eesti.ee, is where all information about where all information about public services, etc., comes together. And this one is managed by the Information Systems Authority, so actually Piret's government entity. CGI has worked on this project as well. And how this government one-stop shop works with X-Road is actually, you can see on this slide. So you would have a citizen logging into the state portal. Once they log in and authenticate based on their digital identity, the security server of a state portal would carry out a predefined query to the population register via security server. So there's a specific X-road protocol, and then the information right from the source, from the population register, for example, about your address, your registered address, would be presented in the state portal. So it's not the state portal that's actually storing information about your address, but it's actually queried right from the source, from the entity that is keeping track of this information, which is the population register. Another service that CGI also has worked on, the digital court dossier, which is digital court dossiers. They enable faster court proceedings so that actually all sorts of procedural documents to courts can be submitted electronically. And this digital court dossier actually connects a number of different parties' information systems, and it does so via the X-road. So to show you a little busier picture, so again, you would have the digital court dossier, and then via the digital court dossier, you would, via a security server and the respective security servers of the other government entities, actually query information from their information systems, so that a court file, a case file, would be up to date. And this is basically how the X-road works, and this is how digital governance or digital administration in Estonia works, that you have an underlying technology with the digital identity, the X-road, and then on top of these two, services are being built. Services whether for the end user, the citizen, or services for the administration, such as the digital court dossier. Just a little overview over what Estonia, what CGI has done in Estonia. So, mentioned the digital court dossier. We've worked closely with the emergency response system, building a large info system there. We've worked on the e-ID together with the Information System Authority, the state portal, but also the prosecutor's information system. So we've been really quite active in the justice and interior domain. I'll leave it at that, and I'm looking forward to questions later. Just a slide, and I'll hand over to Piret, who I've worked closely with in my times at the e-Estonian Briefing Center. So it's a pleasure that Piret is now here to share some insight about her work at the Information System Authority. I'll just show her slides, and then I'll stop my microphone, and you can go ahead, Piret. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you hear me, everybody?
Yes, we do.
Hello.
Yes, you're coming through loud and clear. Thanks.
Okay, very good, very good. So good morning, good afternoon to you, as it's morning for me. So very happy to be here, and very happy to share with you what we have been doing here, and what our authority is doing in Estonia. So as you heard from Tobias, also mentioning our authority, so we are holding many important pieces for Estonia, for digital Estonia. So I have some slides. Ask the questions what are really not on the slide, maybe. So we are the main competence center in Estonia, and our target is to create and protect the best digital society in the world. So this is like our own goal and motivation to everybody working here, that we really want to build the best, and at the same time we also need to protect it, as there are many cyber criminals in the world around, and unfortunately increasing. So as you see on the next slide, we are holding the underlying services. So we all know that if there's a building, the fundamental base is the most important. which means here that you see what we are doing. Previous speaker mentioned X-Road, which is XT, which is mentioned here, electronic identity, state network. These are like main base, fundamental core infrastructure services that everything else is on the top of that, which means that if we have something wrong here, then everybody might be bad. Usually we don't have, so we can't afford it actually. And you also see here mentioned cybersecurity as in our authority, which is quite unique in the world. We are ICT authority and the NCSC Estonia together under the same umbrella. Everybody knows our organization called RIA, which comes from the Estonian abbreviation, but it includes ICT Authority and National Cybersecurity Center. So the cyber people all know in the world what is NCSC. So usually in the other countries, it's not together. Very often it's even under different ministries, but in Estonia, it is together. We have found it useful like that. It has been working like that. We haven't found a reason to change it, so that if one side of the organization is building up the digital government base, then there's a cybersecurity side, cybersecurity center, which knows what is the most what they need to protect in the society. So and all the other services, as you see on the slides, they are coming on the top of that. So yeah, the necessary services are let's say the less necessary. For example, the about the Christmas tree. Yeah, this is not like kind of critical or essential service. For example, before Christmas, Estonians like to go to forest to open their app or to open the website to pay for the Christmas tree and to go to the state forest to pick it up. So, but if this is not working, of course, everybody is quite upset. But this is not what we are calling critical services here. So yeah, you see what is critical services, that the population registry has to work, and some others like a business registry and the health information, that when the clients go to the pharmacy, they want to pick up their medication, that the system would work, because we don't have the prescriptions on the paper. You just call your doctor if you are a current user of certain medications, what very often the elderly people are, so they don't need to go to the doctor every time they need to get their medication. So they just call, doctor makes a prescription, and they go to the pharmacy to pick it up. And also for some other things. So yeah, these are the services that are supposed to work. But of course, the most important services are like that we would have the water, electricity, all that. So this is like that all these big companies are well protected, and they are called essential service providers. Usually we are especially working with them, working hard with them in order to make them to be as safe as possible nowadays. So on the next slide, you will see the setup. These are government IT centers, or called IT powerhouses, however we call it. We have put ourselves on the side because we are providing the base to them. So they are using X-Road, what was mentioned, and electronic identity, which is the base, but they are providing services to the citizens. They are holding the registries. So, and we are holding the base like a state network as well. So we are basically acting or behaving as a telco for them in order to keep them safe. As a CERT, computer emergency response team, is sitting on the top of all the cables, all the network, and monitoring it 24/7, making it sure that it's safe. It's like a kind of perimeter created. So, and it's also here a very good example of consolidation of the services, because we don't have IT department in every ministry. It's not necessary. So you see that, for example, RIK, which we call RIC, Ministry of Justice, and the Government Office, they are using the same IT house. Like basically, they are using the same IT department, and also some others. So we don't need to create the IT department in every big organization or ministry nowadays. They can provide the service to many. So this is like the government has always been paying attention where they are putting the taxpayers' money, so said directly. So yeah, and they are holding the registries. For example, the first one, SMIT, they are holding very important registries. The most important in the country, let's say, the population registry, which is used for all the others, and the X-Road is the platform that enables the cross use, and it's called X-Road because exactly there's a cross use of the registries and services, and there is not one big database that would create a single point of failure or a single point of target for attack, for example. So we never keep the data in one database or registry in Estonia. All these IT houses and everybody else, all the authorities are responsible for their own data. They keep their own data safe. They know what are the rules and all that. So if anything is needed, the data is asked and the data comes. It's not held like in one place, or it's not kept in the same many different places also at the same time, because it's not new, it's not fresh anymore very soon. So yeah, these are the main IT houses, and we are on the side as they depend on us, let's say, because they also depend on the cybersecurity which is provided by us. When Tobias said before about the ID card, of course, this is one of the core services in Estonia, and when this decision was made, actually, that the ID card was made mandatory, many people considered that it's not so democratic decision how it can be done like that, because we are aiming to be and to become very democratic, very nice, very liberal country. It was in 2001. There was a huge discussion in the parliament. Many parties had like very emotional feelings towards that. But somehow this decision was pushed through, that the ID card was made mandatory. But at the same time, there was no fine or penalty or nothing happened to the people who didn't take it, who didn't apply for that. But then all the digital services started being developed based on that, based on your logging in, basically, with your PIN codes, what you received with your ID card based on your digital signature. So everybody understood that, oh, wow, that's a great thing, actually. I want to use it. I don't want to go to the government offices early morning to queue up, to wait for hours and to get the things done. I just want to get up in the morning, take my coffee, sit down, get something done, and go to the office without rushing, without going out in the snowstorm, sometimes bad weather as we have in winter. So and it went like that very smoothly, because everybody started creating the digital services based on that, and the people started understanding how comfortable it is really. And that's how it went basically itself, actually. So that there was no need for something else. I'm watching my time, actually, which is flying. So let's take the next slide. yeah, if we want that everybody would be able to ask the questions as well. So we can rather skip this slide, but this is just our strategic goals for the organization, that we would have it. We are happy to share it just to show what is important for us, and it's also very important for the people working here, that they would know what are the values of the organization, what's the mission, what's the vision, all that, and also how the other organizations in Estonia are seeing us. So I'm not going to read it out, and you you can just see it. But let's go on to get something maybe more substantial as well. I hope you hear me well.
All good.
Okay. Yeah. Let's take the next one. I can, of course, go on talking, but okay, it's coming, I hope. Try again to put the next slide. Yeah, here you see very well how is this division done actually. Just don't pay attention to the part which is on the right, because this is not the most important one, but just the left one and the middle one. Here you see the departments of the organization, NCSC as a cybersecurity center ensuring cybersecurity, and the ICT authority part. So different departments, and this is what is needed to keep up fully digital government of Estonia. So also I wanted to mention, given from previous speaker as well, that there is a state portal environment and services, eesti.ee. You can see it very easily as well, because this is available also in English. You cannot log in and see your own data as you don't have, but you see a lot of information there, and this is like single point of information for people, like a single point where to start. If they if a person gets a question, whatever question, and they don't know what's the authority, where I have to go with this question. For example, if I have an old car and I want to sell it, or I don't know what I have to do even, or how to register my new car, or the things like that. Or if I'm in a certain age and I want to go to the retirement, or for example, if I have forgotten when I graduated from my university, what was the year, or if I haven't used the doctor like 10 years, what's the name of my family doctor, or when my driver's license is expiring, or the things like that. So this is the portal where you can get all the answers in one place, so you don't need to look around on the websites of different authorities. You just go there, you get all the answers, and if you want to go further, you log in and you see your own data. But the data is not there. When you log in, you make a request for a certain field, then it comes from this registry, from this authority which is responsible for that. So, but this is again something which is to facilitate the life of the people, and everybody really likes it. We have the department here sitting on the same floor with me. I just heard few people came to work, so which is developing all that actually, and of course for developing all the services, there's a lot of cooperation with the private sector companies. That's also what Tobias mentioned, that CGI has been one of the partner in developing many services in Estonia. So whatever we do, there's always a state procurement, and we get the partner from a private sector like businesses, and there is sometimes there are like 2 or 3 partners. There might be a consortium if there is something bigger and more difficult that some companies have to get together to apply for the tender. But we usually don't do here the development, let's say raw development. this is something we are getting in. We have project managers, we have product owners, and when the development gets to the certain stage, they start working together. Of course, sometimes we have very specific developments that in the procurement already it is written that we need to make a thorough background check of the person in the company who is going to develop it. So that the company really has to provide us even the name and the data of the person if we have some sensitive things, you know. Might be, but yeah, everything has been done together with the private sector, as we consider that government cannot and does not need even to hold all the competence. Private sector has a lot of competence, as they are the ones who are having their offices in the other countries in the world, in the other regions in the world. So they are bringing into them additional knowledge. And they are very well informed, and they are very well able to bring additional value to Estonia and to Estonian government as well. So if we would keep all this information and everything in the government, very soon, in a year or two, it would become like old. It wouldn't be up to date anymore. So we very much value the cooperation with the private sector, and everything has been done together with that. Also in 2002 already, development of the X road, ID services. There is a trust services behind, which is also coming from a private sector partner, and so on. So as the time is flying, let's go on with a few other slides. There is something. Yeah, this is just few words. We have our annual assessment, what we are doing every year since 2007. This is a picture of the new one that just came out. This is available as a PDF document on our website. So feel free to look for that and see what was going on in Estonia's networks last year, what kind of cyber attacks we had, how many, and how we managed to deal with that, actually, as we are the only CERT in the country. The only computer emergency response team. Big countries have many, we have only one. Our CERT is a single point of contact for everybody, for government, for private sector, and for individuals. So we have also good overview what's going on and what has been going on. So you can check it up. And yeah, of course, it is available in Estonian and in English. Everything we do, it is in English as well. So let's go on with the next slide. Yeah, to illustrate the last year achievements by the cyber criminals in Estonia. We mainly had to deal with the phishing attacks, but these are just the incidents what had impact. These are not all the incidents, but these are the incidents really where the cyber experts had to deal with a hand. Not something what is coming to the automatic systems and what are like removed from the system control and the antivirus programs. This is completely something else, and we know that the world is very much dealing with the other kind of cyber attacks. Which is not maybe like data leaks and things like that, but in Estonia the phishing has been the most, and the DDoS as well. We'll have the DDoS attack slide, the next one. So let's take the next one. Yeah, just the denial of service. The denial of service DDoS attacks quadrupled last year. You see here in April, there was the biggest NATO cyber security exercise as every year in April, as just last week it was conducted. So last year in April, of course, the number of attacks really exploded completely. And then August, when our government decided to remove some Soviet monuments. So again, our certain neighbor countries paying very close attention what we are doing here. So again, the DDoS attacks went up. And then later in autumn, when our parliament decided to declare the neighbor countries' regime as a terroristic one, again, a few hours later, there were enormous DDoS attacks and also enormous attacks against the website of the parliament and all that. So, but fortunately, nothing bad happened last year. The sites were not down, only like sometimes 15-20 minutes maximum. Some sites had difficulties to manage, but we have been doing everything we could. So let's go on as the time is flying. Yeah, that's all. So we can take the questions now. So thank you very much from my side.
Thank you, Piret. That was very informative, and thank you, Tobias, as well. We do have a couple of questions already that have been posted, so I'll deal with them from the top down. So first of all, from David, there's a question about how the digital vision survived multiple changes of government. So was this sort of agreed on? Was it a consensus across all the political parties, and how did you protect that sort of mandate over time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Good question. Fortunately, we have been lucky with that, actually. Even we always have coalition governments. We never had a one-party government, because none of the parties manages to receive over 50 seats in the parliament. Even at the moment, we have three parties government. Very rarely we have had two parties government, but usually three parties government. But no one really ever questioned like a digital government or underlying base. Already, let's say at the beginning of 2000 or in the end of 90s, the government was quite courageous, quite brave to take up really the last innovation technology and to try everything here, actually. So that as we came out from collapse of Soviet Union, there was nothing. So everything has to be built from the scratch. And at that time, as our prime minister was like 32 years old, and we had some other ministers which were like under 30 sometimes, it was also the reason because the people who had like a bit older age, they had been part of the Communistic Party. Because you really couldn't work in a Soviet time if you were not a member of a communistic great party. So, but in 90s, these people were not so popular. So that's why also the people who were ministers, they were quite young, because they had not been the members of the Communistic Party. So they got more votes during the elections, and they were brave enough to look around in the world and to see that, there's a digital signature which has never been like used and tested for the whole country. Let's gonna try it on. As we have nothing anyway, we need to start building up the country. We need to create the laws. Of course, they were checking around also in Germany, Sweden, Finland, like to take some basis of the laws, to take them in, to modify, to take the best, most suitable pieces from different countries, and to put it together. That's how the building up the country was done that time. So and as this basis really has been working so well, what was prepared in 2001, 2002, none of the governments afterwards has said that, oh, let's abolish the ID card. We don't need a digital signature anymore. It just couldn't be possible. There has been one party which is not really even the old party, so-called old party, which is, I don't know, like 7 years, the party in the country which has questioned electronic voting, which is not electronic voting as you know, the machines, but which is fully online voting, what we are doing since 2005 already. There has been one party who has questioned it sometimes, asking to do additional analysis, additional testings, pen testings, all that, but nothing else. All the governments have been providing the resources to go on with building up everything which is digital. So.
Okay, no, thank you. So it's really a question of having established that in the first place. The success really drove the momentum, and so you didn't look back and question whether that was the right decision. Excellent, thank you. So there's another question here from Shoaib, and he's pointing out that Australia is a federated country. So we have a number of states, and we have 3 tiers of government: federal government, state government, and local government. And whilst there's a lot of services that have been digitized, one of our key challenges is integrating them, particularly across states. And so the question is asking, what solutions are there for this problem statement? And did you face that in Estonia? And presumably X-Road is the solution, but was that a sort of bottom-up or top-down imposed solution?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we also have local governments. Even we are not federal country compared to Australia, but we have 79 local municipalities, and they also connected to X-Road. So because they have the data of the people, but the population registry is held by the Ministry of Interior. So they are always sending and updating the data what is in the population registry. And the kids are born in the local hospitals in the other side of the country. So this information also has to reach the population registry. So that's why it is like X-Road that it is really cross working very well, and this is also the way it is kept safe and secure. And there is also information security standard which is applicable to all, and we have department in our agency which is responsible for oversight how everybody is implementing the information security standard. This is a standard created in Estonia for Estonia, but if we make like a comparison, it can be also ISO standard, what the IT people usually know, ISO 27001 actually. So our private sector companies, they can choose either that or the other one. But the government sector, they are obliged to implement the Estonia standard. So this is also how and this is also applicable to municipalities.
So is that legislated? I mean, what for example, what authority do you have? If things are not aligned to.
Yes. So and our also of making the audit in the municipalities to see how they implement the standard, how they keep the data, how they have set up their servers, if everything is safe and secure and all that. So to guarantee the things from down already, let's say on the other side of the country, next to the Russian or Latvian border, what's going on there. Also related to ID card or digital signature, like there are no borders. You can do it from anywhere. You can be anywhere taking care of your data, or sending the digitally signed documents to any of the authorities, would it be your own municipality or a government authority. There's no difference from this point of view, really. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then another question here from Craig, focusing on the cybersecurity. And obviously, Estonia is no stranger to persistent cyber attacks. And he references a nationwide state attack in 2007. How is cybersecurity viewed, by the population? I think we sometimes see or hear stories here that, whilst there's an awareness, the general population doesn't really take it too seriously. But has that changed in Estonia over time?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, it is. Yeah. Maybe also we can say that this 2007 helped for something, like getting immediately the information what's going on, and to raise the awareness among the people that this kind of things might happen. Even that time, there was not so big influence to the people directly. But what we are again doing, we are doing the cyber hygiene campaigns all over the country. It could be also if there's a big country, very federal, so could be done also by the municipalities. But we are doing it. We have a department for that, like prevention, cyber hygiene campaigns all over the country, which again we are doing together with a private sector company. We get the partner from the procurement kind of marketing company who is helping us with the tools, but the substance is coming from us. So there are usually in October, every year in October, it's a full month, but might be also some additional if needed. For example, when the COVID broke out, we conducted immediately additional campaign to make the people aware that during a special situation now, you have to pay a special attention to your cyber hygiene, because everybody moved to online, working from home, working from online. That now it's situation has changed. You're like more vulnerable because there are more people and there's a bigger risk that you make a mistake. But yeah, then we make like campaigns which is on radio, TV. There are advertisements. Also sometimes quite funny can be that the people would pay attention more. There are advertisements on the public transport stops, and like anywhere if there's a campaign, everybody's supposed to notice. And what we do again, that our experts are going out to give the lectures at schools and in the other organizations who are inviting us. Usually they are inviting because it's something interesting what they want to know. So the schools, to the teachers, to the pupils, to the different organizations, our cybersecurity experts are willing to do it. So as there are some who can make a talking as well sometimes. So.
Okay, that's very interesting. So it's very sort of front of mind.
But as a country, you really have to deal with that. You have to work with that. This is what we've understood here, at least. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm conscious we've just got a couple of minutes to go. So I was wondering, what's Australia's focus now for the future? You've got, it sounds like, a lot of these, underlying platforms in place, as you say. So what's the next step that you see?
Maybe I can
please,
I can join in for the future of e-governance or digital public administration in Estonia is obviously embracing new technological opportunities there are, but always with the emphasis that what are new modes or what are new expectations by the citizens, I would say, like how citizens expect how the administration works for them. So there's the concept which I believe Australia is also familiar with the live event-based services, where services are grouped around a specific stage of life you're in. So where Estonia is doing very active work in promoting this concept in step by step, introducing more and more services that are proactive, that are, you're not as a citizen reactive to do, or do you react to the government, but the government actually does stuff for you on your behalf. We talked a lot about cybersecurity. I think this remains very high on the agenda in the future. And Piret also mentioned something in her last answer, which is very critical, and this has been very critical in Estonia, and it will be very critical, which is the whole topic of education and higher education, and actually skilling the workforce for the future, training children today already. Yeah, I think these are like three critical things. Obviously, there's much more. We could talk more about systems.
Absolutely.
You can reach out to me and talk about systems, but I think that's like the three programmatic focuses.
Thank you. That's very, very helpful. So we are up at the hour. So again, very much appreciate your time, Tobias and Piret, for giving up your mornings to share your experiences. I trust everyone got some valuable insight into that. And please, if there are any more questions, do forward them through via the contact details on the invite, and we'll do our very best to answer them. So thank you all. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Goodbye now.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.